So I wanted to do a brief overview of the Asus Mini Transformer. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this device because there's quite a few unboxing and specs videos on it. But I want to give you my impression of it compared to the Surface Pro 4, which I actually did own and then return. But anyway, and I want to give you an overview of the Moko case that I got off of Amazon. So first, the device. I'm an online teacher and I work from home. Actually, my company is hiring, so I'll put a link for that in the description box below. But I use my laptop as a desktop replacement. I don't actually own a desktop. And right around the time I needed to replace my laptop, I also needed to replace my tablet, which was the Samsung Note 10.1, which I loved. So I thought I'd get the Surface Pro 4 to replace my tablet and my laptop. But the Surface Pro 4 just was too big to be a tablet and too small to be a laptop that was actually replacing a desktop, if you know what I mean. As an extra device to have around the house, as a little portable laptop, it was great for that, but it just wasn't serving my purposes. So I wound up returning it and buying a separate laptop to teach off of. But I really did like having that secondary Windows device. So I got the Asus Mini Transformer. I got it from the MicrosoftStore.com. I have the 64 gigabyte version for $280. I thought that was a really good price. It comes, of course, with the tablet, the keyboard, and the pen. And so far, going from a Samsung Note 10.1 to this device, it's been pretty seamless. There are glitches with this device, but I found that my Surface Pro 4 had glitches too. And for the price and what I expected out of it, I was less willing to put up with the glitches on that device than I am on this device. But just to give you some comparison, since I did own both, this has the kickstand with as much usability as the Surface Pro 4. One thing I do find though is that it's a little bit more specific to get to the kickstand, where to place your fingers to open the hinge. Whereas with the Surface Pro 4, I felt like I could just find it and open it up pretty easily. This one I have to really make sure I'm finding the right spot to then open it. I did insert a 258 gigabyte card. Here's the little micro SD card slot here, and that's been pretty neat. Even though I got the 64 gigabyte version, I was able to expand my storage space by adding that card here. One thing I'll note that I haven't seen on other reviews is there's a little indicator light right here for when you're charging it. When you first get this device out of the box, it has no juice, it has no charge. You really have to charge it up before you could turn it on. So this light will be red when it's actually charging, and then it'll be white when it's done charging. And the charging cable that came with it, micro USB, is really short, like 3 feet short. So it's ridiculously small. But I guess what's nice is that it's pretty universal. You can charge it with anything. Another thing that I miss compared to the Surface Pro 4 is the keyboard is not backlit. Yeah, I mean, I guess what do you expect for the price? It can't do it all. But I find the usability of it pretty well. The pen has a little slot here that you can attach it to, which I like, because on the Surface Pro 4 it was just a magnetic attachment and it was pretty easy for it to just come off of it. But one thing I don't like about this setup is that if you detach the keyboard and are just using the tablet, the pen, you have no place to attach your pen. Whereas with the Surface Pro 4, because it was a magnetic attachment here, if I were using the pen, I was done with it, I could just magnetically attach it here. So I am considering getting some kind of pen clip attachment to put here so that I have a place to store the pen when I'm just using it in tablet mode. Other than that, I find the usage of it pretty comparable. I mean, again, I'm not comparing hardware specs or screen resolution or anything like that, you know, but as far as like what I needed it to be, a tablet that could also serve as a secondary Windows device. I'm finding that this is doing it quite well. And now I have my little scale here to show you the weight. This is a big reason why I returned that Surface Pro 4. It was just heavier and bigger than I wanted it to be. So the tablet alone here is, I don't know if you could see that, is 19.05 ounces. No, you can't see that. And with the keyboard and pen, I'll add the pen there, 28.85 ounces. Oh, maybe you can see it now. Yeah. This is lighter than actually my Samsung Galaxy Note tablet. Now, I don't know if making that comparison is helpful to you at all, but I know those were the devices I was coming from a Samsung Note tablet to this. Now I'll show you the case that I bought for this. I wanted to get a case that would allow me to continue to use the kickstand that's built into this device. So this Moko on Amazon was the only one I could find that allowed you to use the built-in kickstand. I got this pattern, but they have some solid color options if that's what you're interested in as well. I'll put this one down to check the weight of this, and you can see it's 7.7 ounces. So I found that this case added a little more weight and bulk than I wanted to the tablet. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. It's got this little pad here. So let's do another. That was in the shipping. Let's take another weight so we can get a more accurate weight of that. All right, so 7.5 ounces. You can use the case with just the tablet, or you can use it with the keyboard attached too. And you can see how it kind of bends here. This is where it's supposed to allow you to use the built-in kickstand. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that, click it in. No, it would help if I put it in the right way. Okay? And if I close it and I use this without the keyboard, I kind of find that it's just a little, because it has room and allowance for the keyboard, it just seems to be a little, I don't know, a little bit bigger than I want it to be. See, if I hold it flat here, then it overlaps here. If I make it even here, then it just feels kind of, maybe I'm just being nitpicky, but you know, it does a pretty good job of covering it. Your fingerprint access is still accessible with the case on it. And the case has a magnetic closure, so it makes it, you know, it keeps it from flopping open if I had it upside down. Now I'll show you how the kickstand is supposed to work with this. You just lean it forward, and as you do, you see how the kickstand stays attached to the case here, and then you can use it. But I don't know if you can see this, but here's the problem I'm having with this case. When you use the kickstand up here, it becomes detached. Don't know if the camera angle is catching that, but it doesn't stay clicked in here, especially somehow just on this corner in particular. And so, I don't know, when you close it back up, it comes back together again and then it stays attached, but when you open it up, it becomes loose on the top there. And for me, I just feel like, see if you can see that? It's just gonna slide right out. It doesn't seem to really just snap on and stay onto the case. For the Surface Pro, I had purchased that Kensington black belt case, which allowed you to use the built-in kickstand, and that one was designed a little bit differently. It had a cutout in the back so that it protected the edges of your case, but where your kickstand came out was just an open cutout. With this one, it's the case goes around it, and so I just think the design is lacking. See, can you see that there? This is the only case I could find for this, and there were no reviews on it, even on the Amazon link. I'll put the link for this case below anyway. So I figured I'd show this video to show you what it looked like. When I put the keyboard attached to it, let me close that kickstand up. It gives it a nice, you know, it kind of holds onto it well, but I guess the magnetic doesn't work then. See, the magnetic attachment is on the back side of the keyboard, so then it doesn't stay shut as it did when I showed you before without the keyboard. The other issue I have with this is, you know, weight is a consideration for me. That's part of the reason I returned the Surface Pro 4. With this case and the tablet and the keyboard, it's now 35.5 ounces. That's over 2 pounds there. It adds a substantial amount of weight, more than I'd like it to be. It just feels heavier than I want it to feel. So I guess the search for the case continues. Anyway, I hope this review was useful if you were considering a case. See, I'll show you now too. When I open the kickstand, I can just slide this this case out. Oh, actually, let me show you. How did I do that before? Because I did have with another issue. I had a little bit of trouble removing the case. There we go. To remove the case, I forgot. That's what I needed to do. I needed to open the kickstand because it loosened the top when you open the kickstand, and then unsnap the bottom. When I had the kickstand closed in the case and I was trying to remove the case, it felt like really stuck onto the case. I couldn't remove it. It wasn't until I opened the kickstand, unclicked the case from the kickstand, and then slid it out was I able to detach it from the case. So needless to say, it seems well built, but it just is not well designed. It just doesn't stay onto it properly with the kickstand function open. So the search continues. This goes back to Amazon. Thanks for watching. I hope that you found this useful. I'll include the link for this below. I'll include the link for my online teaching job too, in case that's something that you're interested in. And I hope you have a great day.